So I just finished making some steaks and I decided to make a red wine pan sauce to go with it. So here we're going to do it. We got some shallots, we got some Caymus here, really nice red wine. You don't need to use anything this expensive, but doesn't hurt. Flour, there's the steaks over there also, resting. You're going to add the shallots to the pan shortly, but we're also going to need some chicken stock and some nice butter. Some people use beef stock. I don't really like the flavor of that, but you can. The pan is still quite hot from the steaks. I have taken them out to rest, so just turning the heat back on and adding a little bit of oil to just add a fresh amount. You still have all the beautiful fond and every meat excess that was left over. So throw those shallots in. As you can tell, sizzling, still super hot. This is more shallots than some people may use, but I like to use a lot of them because they'll disintegrate down to almost nothing and really enrich the flavor of your sauce. Move these around in your pan. You just want them to become translucent, fragrant. You're not trying to really cook them to death or caramelize them, but cook them till they're translucent. The pan's a little hot. You do need to add butter, but I'm going to add it now with this step just to help cool this down. As you can see, they're frothing a little bit, which I don't love, but it's not an issue. I'm just going to kill the heat and let this cold butter take everything down a peg. At this step, since I'm not using broth that is super gelatinous, I'm going to add just about a teaspoon of flour here to help turn this into kind of a roux to overall make this sauce a little thicker. You're going to add that in, and the important step here is to mix it well and cook out the flour taste. So for about a minute, you're going to work it through in the sauce and just really make sure you're cooking out that raw flour flavor. And you'll notice when it's done. At this point, I'm going to add in 1 cup of chicken stock. This is the stock I chose to use. You can use whatever you'd like. And you're going to cook that down until it reduces just maybe about by half. I think I do it a little less than that. I mean, a little more than half. I don't let it get all the way. But you're looking for this point here where you could pull across and it doesn't fill in immediately. That's how you know it's starting to thicken up nicely. So now I'm going to add in half a cup of my red wine. You could add in a little more if you want a little more red wine flavor, but I didn't want this sauce to take too long to make, and I also didn't want it to become too thick, so I used half a cup. At this point, wipe the sides down and turn this up to high and let this start to reduce. At a certain point, you'll get it down to around here where I turned the heat off, so that's why it's smoking, but it'll be doing the same thing. You'll be able to pull a straight line with it, and you won't see it fill itself back in. That's the perfect consistency for this sauce. Now you're going to add in cold butter. That's the most important part. You could use salted or unsalted, depending on how salty you want your sauce. I'm using unsalted. Mix that in. I could tell right off the bat that that wasn't going to be enough butter, so I'm going to add in another tablespoon worth of butter there. Each one was a tablespoon, so that's 2 tablespoons total. You're going to mix that in real well. You should see the sauce start to get that nice shine to it. It's going to be definitely a lighter color, which is what you're going for, and then bam, that's perfect. You can see those meat chunks floating around in there. That sauce is just absolutely great. So keep it warm, make sure your meat has fully rested, and then it's super easy. I like to test it out with a spoon, but you could also do the pull test like that to make sure it's not filling in, but I want it to just be able to coat the back of a spoon perfectly like that. It doesn't run off, it's not too loose. That is a perfect sauce. So take your steak. I think these kind of rested for a few minutes too long, but just cover them. And see, it's got that beautiful kind of light purple from the red wine. It's just an absolutely perfect sauce to elevate your dishes. Make this anytime, any type of sauce you can make for chicken, and you would use white wine. These are just absolutely game-changing sauces for your meals.